Hello everybody and welcome back to Controlled Chaos Gaming. My name is Andy and today we're playing with some more Pokemon 151 and we're testing for Sacramento Regional Championships, which happens this upcoming weekend. If you guys want to, you can go watch that on the Pokemon channel on YouTube or Twitch, and hopefully you'll get to see one of us on the stream there. But getting into this game, it's going to be Giratina Vstar on the right being played by Breeze, and on the left we have Q playing Lost Box. Now, Lost Box just ended up winning the Peoria Regional Championships, and this is of course the Kyogre Lost Box, which Q is playing. If you guys ever want to look at our Discord for deck list, that is in the description, so go take a look at that and you can find all of our deck lists for all of the videos that you see. Now, it looks like Q is starting off with a Nest Ball here. So Q here is going to use a Nest Ball for that Radiant Greninja and is going to use its concealed cards here to draw 2 cards, discarding that Water Energy. Now, against the Giratina matchup, he's got to be thinking about a way to take multiple prizes in one turn. Of course, trying to prevent a Roxanne path out of the game. So we're going to see a couple flower selectings here. Going to Lost Zone some cards, and right over to the Giratina side, it's going to be a Colress. Looks like getting rid of one of the Mirage Gates. Of course, this deck does run 4, so it's okay to get rid of at least one. And a Jet Energy, also quite a few copies in this list. We're going to see a flower selecting next, choosing between a Water and Psychic Energy. And it looks like prioritizing the Psychic Energy. Going to use that Battle VIP Pass as well to go grab a Greninja and potentially a second Comfey. Although it looks like they might be debating something else. Taking a quick look through the deck. Of course, as the Giratina player, you are wanting to take a couple knockouts with Greninja or Sableye and then not use Giratina unless it's strictly necessary to win the match. And it looks like it's going to be a Comfey, so grabbing the Comfey and the Radiant Greninja off of this Battle VIP Pass. It's going to be a concealed cards here, discarding a Water Energy to draw 2 cards. And we're going to see an Escape Rope. This is going to allow the other Comfey to come into the active and use its flower selecting. And it looks like Q over here with Lost Box is promoting the Cramorant. And the Giratina promoting that other Comfey using its flower selecting and is now at 4 cards in the Lost Zone and can use Cramorant. Looks like valuing a Manaphy though as they Nest Ball for Manaphy. Manaphy going to prevent them from a Greninja KO on this next turn. We're going to see a Giratina bench. This is an interesting choice, but using the Abyss Seeking. It's an attack that allows you to look at the top 4 cards, Lost Zone 2 of them, and put the other 2 right into your hand. This is really good for accelerating the Lost Zone, but it does leave the Giratina susceptible to an attack. Looks like on the Lost Box side, using Colress right away. And it's going to Lost Zone a Battle VIP Pass and one of the 2 Energy Recyclers. Energy Recycler, a really good card in this deck, as you can use the Kyogre attack to discard all 5 energy that you put back and do 250 damage to bench Pokemon. Looks like using an Escape Rope here, going to use Flower Selecting, Lost Zone one of the Electric Energy, and use Concealed cards. So really powering through the deck here, getting resources down and into the hand as well. We're going to see what happens this turn. Is it going to be an attack from the Lost Box player, or are they going to go on the defensive? It looks like they're going to go on the defensive here, placing Manaphy and passing the turn. Onto the Giratina side, they're going to use concealed cards here to discard and draw 2, and then a Colress's Experiment to get rid of a Battle VIP Pass and a Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders not super impactful with Lost Box because they're low HP around the board. And we're going to see a switch cart here into the Comfey once again. And going to get rid of a Giratina Vstar and grab the other card. So that's 2 Giratina Vstar in the Lost Zone for those counting, which means only 1 left in deck. And we're going to see a Pokegear here used to grab a Colress's Experiment. So really powering through the deck on the Giratina side as well. Both of these players getting through the deck very, very nicely and have not yet gone on the aggressive. So we're going to see which one takes that position first. We're going to see a switch card here into the other Comfey, and they're going to be up to 10 cards in the Lost Zone right now. That means they can attack with Sableye if they have one. And it looks like it's going to be a Nest Ball for the Cramorant instead, valuing this Cramorant attack instead of a Sableye this turn. And it looks like it's going to be a detachment to retreat into that Cramorant and use its Spit Innocently attack. We're going to see the Comfey come into the active here, and over to the Lost Box player, they're going to use their Colress's Experiment. Both players trying to get to a double prize turn. It's just a matter of which ones are going to be the fastest to it. It looks like it's going to be getting rid of a Battle VIP Pass and a Forest Sealstone here off of that Colress. It does still have access to the Flower Selecting as well. And it looks like it's going to be that Flower Selecting here, looking at the top two cards. Going to get rid of a Heavy Ball. Likely did not prize anything of sorts. Going to see a Concealed cards here to draw 2 cards. And a Pokestop. We're going to see the Pokestop used here. Discarding looks like a Colress and a Dragonite. Not a very good Pokestop for sure here, but getting access to that Nest Ball could be very nice for the future. As we're going to see another Comfey come down. And an Escape Rope played. So it's going to be a Comfey being promoted for both players here. And we're going to see another Flower Selecting. Getting rid of that Water Energy. So that is a lot of cards in the Lost Zone now. Looks like it might be Sableye time, if not next turn. We're going to see an attachment to retreat into this Cramorant and going to take a knockout with Spit Innocently. Over to the Tina side, they're going to promote a Comfey and Flower Selecting. It's going to be between a Roxanne and an Escape Rope. Choosing the Escape Rope, of course, the Roxanne also very good in this matchup, but determining that that's not what they needed right now. As we're going to see this Escape Rope played, looks like the Lost Box player sending up Comfey and the Tina player sending up Sableye. With this Lost Mine attack, they'll be able to place a lot of damage on the board and potentially set up for a double prize turn later in the game. Looks like going to be a Super Rod first, though, shuffling back in a couple Energy and a Comfey. Valuing the Echoing Horn in the other player's deck, I guess respecting the Echoing Horn in the other player's deck, they're going to shuffle back in that Comfey with the Super Rod. This is going to prevent a potential play with that Echoing Horn later on. And we're going to see the Giratina Vstar be evolved and Path to the Peak played and an Iono. This is incredible usage of this Disruption card. Of course, Path to the Peak shutting off Greninja and Iono, putting all of those good cards back into the Lost Box player's deck. So now they're going to start with a fresh hand. Of course, it is only 5 cards, but 5 cards is a lot better than 2 or 3. So we're going to see now a Mirage Gate from the Tina player, and of course the Lost Mine, I expect, will take a knockout on the Cramorant and put damage on the Manaphy and the Comfey likely. And we're going to see Lost Mine here to take a knockout actually on that Manaphy, so likely setting up for a Greninja play on the following turn. This is going to leave them with 5 damage counters left. If they'd like to, they should put 2 on Greninja and 1 on each Comfey, but determining that potentially Switch Cart could be seen, so they're going to put 4 on that Greninja instead to leave it with 90 left, and the Comfey with 10. We're going to see a Chorus right away from the Lost Box player. And it looks like a tough decision for them. Looks like a lot of good cards off of that Chorus's experiment. It's going to be an Echoing Horn and the Beach Court going down. Of course, Echoing Horn not very good at the moment. There is no basic Pokemon in that discard pile. The Beach Court would have been nice to retreat into this Cramorant, but it looks like they were valuing something else. We're going to see a Flower Selecting here. Definitely building that Lost Zone very, very well. And it's going to be a nice Pokestop. So being rewarded for playing that Pokestop earlier and getting punished for it by drawing 3 item cards this time. So we're going to see the Sableye benched again, and we're going to see a Psychic Energy attached to it, as well as a Super Rod. This deck does play 3 Super Rod thanks to the Kyogre engine. It does want all of those energy and the Kyogre back into the deck as much as possible so that they can use that final attack to take the game. So shuffling back in the Manaphy, it looks like they're going to Nest Ball for it. This way that Radiant Greninja cannot take double KO on the following turn. Looks like debating what they're going to do here. It's going to be an Escape Rope. Not sure how I feel about the Escape Rope. Of course, did have access to the Beach Court and decided not to use it. Oh, but they are going to send up that Sableye and use Lost Mine. It's going to be 8 damage counters on the Sableye, 1 on the Comfey, and 1 on the Manaphy, and then 2 on that Radiant Greninja. So really, really good placement from the Lost Box player here, valuing the double knockout with a Sableye on this following turn, as well as a potential Cramorant KO on this Radiant Greninja. So back over to the Tina player, it looks like they're going to use concealed cards here to discard a Psychic Energy and draw two more cards. And for them, they're really in a sticky situation here. They have to knock out this Sableye, but if they knock out this Sableye with the Cramorant, then the opposing Cramorant can take a knockout back. And if they take a knockout with Greninja, then Greninja gets KO'd by that Cramorant as well. So curious to see what happens here. We're going to see an attachment to retreat into that Cramorant. Looking at the discard pile, counting up those energies. That is a lot of energy in the discard pile. It looks like it is going to be a retreat into that Cramorant, though. Likely going to see the Spit Innocently for a knockout. And that's what it's going to be. So going down to 3 prizes here for the Tina. And the Comfey being promoted on the Lost Box side. Going to draw for turn here. Does have access to both Pokestop and the Flower Selecting, as well as Radiant Greninja's concealed cards. So going to use that concealed cards to discard a Water Energy and draw 2 cards. And we're going to see that Flower Selecting. Looking at the top 2. Looks like another tough choice. Of course, Lost Box not for the faint-hearted. It is very hard choosing sometimes between those cards that you get in Flower Selecting. Looks like getting rid of a Mirage Gate, and then they're going to use Pokestop for 0 cards that time, actually just thinning all of their remaining Pokemon, it looked like. And it's going to be a switch card here to heal 10 damage from that Comfey. Very nice. And it's going to be into the Cramorant, which of course is really good. Doing 110 damage does knock itself out. So that's going to be a really good way to go down to 3 prizes remaining for this Lost Box player. And it looks like they're going to Super Rod in a Psychic, Water, and Sableye. Sableye going to be very good for that double prize turn later on in the game on that Manaphy and Comfey. Oh, wow, and we're going to see a Roxanne. Roxanne going to put the Tina player to 2 cards. Just only 2 cards in their hand. And this other Lost Box player is going to get 6 cards, which is going to help them not only get to that Sableye and Psychic Energy for a potential later turn, but also going to disrupt the other player. So let's see if they get anything really good off of these 2 cards. It looks like not. The Tina player just getting a Psychic Energy and a Path of the Peak. And it looks like 3 to 3 prizes now. In Tina's turn here, they are really going to need something. Promoting the Giratina, of course, does still have access to Star Requiem, just instantly KOing a Pokemon. And they're instead going to use concealed cards. So, not sure if I would have preferred to see a Star Requiem there, but it looks like they're potentially digging for something with that Comfey. So, going to use that Flower Selecting and get rid of a Jet Energy. And we're going to see another Comfey bench. This is really, really looking for something. It must be either a Roxanne or an Iono. And I'm going to use Flower Selecting again between a Boss's Orders and looks like Artisan, getting rid of it. Now, Boss's Orders is very interesting here because that could take a knockout on one of the Pokemon on the bench. Again, I would have preferred to see Star Requiem this turn, but I think they might have been looking for Hand Disruption for this turn. Oh no, and they're going to have to pass the turnover, so no attack this turn. And it's back over to the Lost Box player who has access to Cramorant's attack once again, or can use Sableye to take a knockout. Going to use concealed cards here, discarding a Water Energy and Pokestop. Get rid of the Sableye, a Raikou, and of course bringing that Lost Vacuum to hand. Here comes another Sableye, and are we going to see a Psychic Energy? Looks like actually an Energy Recycler, so shuffling back up to 5 energy, and that of course is the last Energy Recycler in deck. So this is likely not going to be a Kyogre endgame. Of course, with that Manaphy, it's kind of difficult. But with that double Sableye, it's very easy to power up and use the Cramorant and the Greninja and the Sableye to take knockouts late game. So it looks like it's going to be a attachment with the Mirage Gate and retreat into that Sableye, and going to use Lost Mine to take double knockout on Comfey and Manaphy. Actually decides to spread the damage differently, putting 6 damage on that Radiant Greninja. We're going to see concealed cards right here to draw 2 more cards, and a Nest Ball here to look through the deck. And it looks like there's really nothing left for them. Oh, and they're showing off the Roxanne and the prizes. So it is going to be a game going over the Lost Box player. Really, really close match and really great games from both players. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you haven't already, you should go check out if you're subscribed. We're almost to 500 subscribers, which is a huge milestone of ours, and we're hoping to hit that by the end of this year. And if you haven't already, you should check out the rest of our channel for more games just like this one with Pokemon 151 and Paradox Rift coming soon. Thanks again. My name is Andy, and this has been Controlled Chaos Gaming. We'll see you guys next time.